Okay guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. I know it's not Monday or a Friday, but I wanted to put this video out and all around the US presidential election. We're all talking about it. More importantly, how it impacts you and the UK investment market and property investment market in 2020. So in this video, I'm going to cover what my prediction on the outcome of the US presidential election is, and I'm also going to be covering exactly what it means for each party and of course the impact on the global economy, the US economy, and of course the UK investment market and the property investment market. So first of all, who have we got? We've got Biden, who's 77 years old, almost 78 in 15 days at the time of filming this, and of course Donald Trump, the current president of the US. We've got Biden representing the Democrats and Trump representing the Republicans. For those in the UK that don't quite know how that translates, essentially what you can think of is the Democrats as the Labour Party and the Republicans as the Conservative, but both of them are closer to Conservatives than Labour over here, so quite right wing. The thing that's so important around this is everyone's talking about it. We're in the middle of COVID, we've got Brexit going on, and it has a dramatic impact, let alone that either people, if they become the president, are going to be the oldest US president that has ever lived. So I just want to point out that this is extremely broad brush and is just one person's opinion on this, okay? Now, I don't typically cover political events because I don't want the onslaught of the pro-Trumps and con-Trumps, all of that coming in. I do not and will not be sharing an opinion on what I think of each, just what I think the impact will be. And whilst there will be a US president, I'm going to cover a couple of predictions. So number one is that whilst there will be a US president, obviously, I don't think they're going to have full control because I do think they're going to lose control of the Senate, or it will become very close. And my prediction is, here we go, Biden will win 270 to Trump's 268. So we'll win just by 2 points. We're not out there yet, but we will see if that comes true. And what I want to cover is the impact of that to you, me, the global economy, and ultimately what it means for our investments. So, as I said, I'm not really pro-Trump, con-Biden, or the other way around, but I kind of want to give a bit of background on how I visualize them. So overall, how I sort of personify Trump is like an owner of a business, quite opportunist, very pro-choice, push for yourself, independence, go, go, go. Whereas what I visualize Biden as is an accountant, if you like. And it's not that that's bad, but it's very rule book focused. And actually, that's really important when we're thinking about the context of this and how it impacts a lot of things. So Biden, as I said, he's 77, almost 78 at 15 days from filming this. He's been a politician and in politics since the 1980s, I think, maybe 1970s, long-standing politician, old money, long-reaching, far-reaching family, and is very by the book. So what does this mean on some policy, and why do we even care in the UK and in the world? Well, here's why it impacts us. If Biden does win, and my prediction is right, the 270 to 268, what it means is the EU, for example. So right now we have different treaties with Brexit going on in the UK. Number one of it is the Internal Markets Bill. And the Internal Markets Bill is essentially the nations within the UK, England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, having no barriers and no cost between each other once we're trading. The problem with that is when we were looking at originally agreeing to Brexit, exit the EU and Britain exiting, is that we are not going to have any charges between Northern Ireland and Ireland, so there wouldn't be a trade barrier. The problem is with having this barrier, no cost, it contradicts that. You can't have both. Okay, so we are kind of going back on our word. Not saying I'm against it, but we are going back on our word. And currently the EU is suing the UK. Exciting times, right? So what's the problem with this? Well, ultimately, if you want to have those agreements in place, you don't want the EU suing us, right? And Biden's opinion is that's disgusting. You shouldn't be going back on your agreement. So much so, we are not going to have a discussion about the US imports, exports and agreements, the trade deals going on until you take that policy away. Okay, now the thing that's scary about that is we're quite a proud country. Okay, we don't want the US coming in and bullying us, but the truth is the US is a really powerful force in the global economy. And, you know, if they say something, it does have a lot of weight. And so if Biden does win, which I predict he will, it has quite a lot of weight in that. And so if he's saying, actually, we're not going to come in and have any sort of agreement until you take that out, that can cause quite big problems for us. So talking about imports and exports, the US represents around 615 billion in imports, which is second to Germany at 9.5% of the UK's imports. Looking at the exports, we're looking at 441 billion, which represents 13.2% of our exports. That's going out of the economy, or we're selling to the US, which is the biggest independent partner that we have in the world. Okay, so when I say they have an impact, they have an impact. And to give you an idea, that adds up to just over $1 trillion, 1.05 trillion. And to give you an idea of the GDP of the UK, which in simple terms is the turnover of the country, the UK's GDP, gross domestic product, is 2.5 trillion. So those numbers are a real and significant portion of what we're talking about. So just so you know the UK stance, and if you're watching this in the US, you might have different opinions, but as you'll know, the media has a dramatic impact on how we think about different people. And the way that Biden is communicated with us in the UK's media is a stable hand, somebody you can trust. And Trump, 9 times out of 10, isn't positioned very well at all in the UK economy. He's rash, he's angry, he's childish, he does stupid tweets, there's a lot of jokes and gifs over here. I'm not saying he is, by the way, but that is how he's perceived. So there is definitely a preference in the UK towards Biden. But as I said, that does have an impact on the investment market, as you can see. What he's also doing is looking at taxing the rich in the US. Okay, so to give you an idea, it's 67%. A 67% tax bracket on those earning over $400,000. And that creates quite a lot, okay? So 67% on over $400,000. That's going to impact a lot of the high net worth Americans there. And that obviously creates some damage. So 50 Cent actually come out and said, bloody hell, I won't be called 50 Cent anymore. They'll start calling me 20 Cent. Pretty funny, but it actually is a voice in the media of how the wealthy are going to be thinking of this. Is suddenly your $1 is going to be worth 33 cents. That's without your local taxes and things like that. Okay, so if you're in the UK, why do we care? Well, actually, there's a couple of different things. So for the US, first of all, it creates something called capital flight. So in economics, capital flight is the escape of money from a country due to a reaction to something. So if you tax the wealthy, there's going to be one of two things. A load of new loopholes are going to be explored and exploited, and long-term, therefore, closed up, because naturally people will neglect that. Or what it means is people not being able to exploit it and really making the hard decision to leave the land of opportunity that is America, escape the American dream that once existed and goes to other countries. That's good for us in the UK, because a lot of Americans, where do they escape to? London, baby. And that means more money, more opportunity pouring in. The negatives of this for the UK is the Americans, the US, is a powerful country, and it sets a benchmark. And so if there's a 67%, if we suddenly go, right, we're going to charge 50%, 55% to people earning a certain amount, suddenly there's a benchmark to go, well, it could be worse. Look at the way America's run. Okay, so again, long-term impacts, but hopefully you can get your head around why that impacts us. Ultimately, I think it's quite positive for the UK, because I think there's going to be more people, more opportunity, and Americans are real big on opportunity. The whole mindset is pretty impressive, my personal opinion. If you're watching this in the US, I don't think that's a good thing at all for the country. It means less cash in circulation, because yes, you think, oh, surely it's more tax. No, because the big earners are going to end up looking at the loopholes, paying taxes in other countries, and if needed, will move to other countries at that level of wealth. So the idea that it's good for the economy ends up usually being bad for the economy. So Trump on the other side, again, I'm sure I have a skewed perception due to the media and how it impacts me. And by the way, if you're watching this from the US, let me know what you think about my opinions on Trump and Biden. Am I skewed? Is the media skewed and warped my mind? Let me know in the comments. And of course, subscribe to the channel to see more content like this on investment and how it impacts us. So how it's perceived to us on the other side is Trump is very pro-choice, pro-business, and I'm not sure I agree with a lot of the way he approaches business, but the big thing for the UK market is he's very pro-Brexit, okay? He's loving Boris, it seems. They seem very chummy, similar hairstyles, all of that sort of thing. But they do seem to get on. He's very pro-Brexit. He's had him over for talks. He's had Nigel Farage over for talks. Again, I'm not saying I agree with all of this, but he seems very pro-choice, independence, yeah. You go out on your own, I'm here with you. And he is very pro that stance. So he doesn't care about other treaties. All he seems to care about is the deal with the US. There's probably a reason for that. My suspicion is the privatization of the NHS and the potential fear around that. And by the way, if you're watching from the US, that's a real big fear here in the UK. We are very, very proud about our government looking after us. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but the NHS is a really powerful thing that brings communities together here in a very, very big way, especially during COVID. We clap the NHS. We're really proud about what people do. And the idea of privatizing a basic human right over here, how we see it, is seen as really negative. And of course, what happens if it is privatized and US play a part in that? Big pharma companies, pharmaceutical companies get the contracts to come over here and monetize. Smart guy Trump, right? So it's very pro with everything, very pro-business, and it does make it easier for us, and there would definitely be less uncertainty here. So for the overall economy, I actually think Biden has a negative impact. That's just my opinion, but overall, it creates uncertainty. So again, I really want to reiterate, I am not pro-Trump, I'm not pro-Biden. I do think for the economy, Trump would be better for the US and the UK overall. But ultimately, what it creates is uncertainty. And my main worry around Biden is the power that he will have over the UK and our decision-making process and the leverage and the lever that he's got over us. So what does it mean for us? Well, it's uncertainty. And what happens to the market in uncertainty is people hold on to what they've already got. Okay, so if they've got investments, they might not make decisions. If they're thinking about moving house, they probably will go, oh, you know, prices might fluctuate because of this, and I might hold on for the next 8 weeks. Well, it's coming up to December. Tell you what, let's just wait 6 months. Okay, so how does this become an opportunity? Well, uncertainty always creates opportunity. Remember, there are more millionaires made in a recession than in a boom. And it's not because there are more opportunities, but there are more problems and less players ready to react to it. So people love speed and people love certainty. So you can take advantage of the situation and provide the best solution for it, and you will end up making money as a single entity. So whilst it's probably not good for us as a country on top of Brexit, COVID, and the other stuff that's going on right now, there are opportunities if you can create confidence in an uncertain market. So I hope this has been valuable. Let's see if my prediction of 270 over 268, a Biden win, comes true. And if it does, maybe this other stuff will start playing out and you'll start seeing in the market. More importantly for you, you should get planning right now about what impact you can have to your business, your investment, and if you're in property, you're in property investment cycle. If you found this valuable, if you agree or disagree, by the way, I'm absolutely open for a debate. Make sure to leave a comment below and I'll make sure to respond to every single one, even if I don't agree with you. And if you got any value from this at all, I'd really appreciate it if you could smash the like button. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more content, hey, it'd be amazing if you could hit the subscribe button and go over to the notification bell. And I'll see you tomorrow in the Friday video all around investment.